Would I be the a-hole for pulling my daughter out of dance? I have 2 daughters, 15 female and 12 female, who have both been competitively dancing since they were little and they both love it. My husband got laid off a couple months ago from his tech job and is still trying to find a new one, so we are trying to cut costs. Dance competitions and the classes for both girls are no longer in our budget. However, the younger one is a great little dancer, somewhat of a prodigy. She consistently places high in competitions and her dance teachers believe she can make it as a professional dancer. While as a mama bear I love watching both of my girls dance, my older does struggle a lot more with it and doesn't perform well in competitions. We don't think she'll be able to pursue it as a career professionally. Would we be the a-holes for pulling the older one out of dance while letting the younger one continue, since it's a possible career opportunity for her? We were thinking about maybe suggesting community dance courses for the older one versus the more intense, expensive private lessons and dance competition style path. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents I won't be at their wedding because of my weight? Hello, just for some context, I 30 female, am 412 pounds and I'm 52. Yes, this isn't a joke and I wish it was. I've always been big, was about 280 pounds at 18 and I've always been an overeater, but when I left for college and I had a lot of money, and my parents weren't there to stop me. Yeah, you can guess how I gained a lot of weight. This isn't really relevant, just backstory I guess. Anyway, my parents, 55 female and 58 male, are getting married in July. I was invited to come at the beginning of the year and I accepted. But recently I am having second thoughts. I already spend a lot of time with my parents when I can, so this isn't because I don't love them or anything like that, because they're honestly lovely people and the best parents I could ever ask for. But honestly, I'm not going because of my weight. It's going to be full of family friends who I haven't seen in years, so it will make my weight gain extra embarrassing and noticeable. On top of that, I'm just genuinely really ugly. Really fancy clothes would look terrible on me, and I don't want to be at an event where a lot of people will see me even though the focus isn't on me. I only leave my apartment when I really have to, so going to a huge event seems overwhelming. I really wish I could go, but I've thought about this a lot and the only thing I would be able to think about is everybody else, and not my parents, so I don't want to make a big deal and ruin their day on their wedding. Last night I went and visited their house and I told them about it and I said I'm really sorry. They were shocked, and my dad looked upset and stepped outside because he said he didn't want to be part of this conversation anymore. My mom got angry and told me that I'm betraying them and that I'm going to look like an embarrassment. She told me that I deserve to look like this and she won't be there to help me when I end up eating myself to death at 40, and that I've ruined our relationship. I know this stuff that she's saying is just out of anger, but I feel so awful about it. I've tried to call her this morning and she won't respond, and neither will my dad. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law that she doesn't know how to live in the moment? Last night, myself, my wife and her sister went out for my wife's birthday. We decided to go wine tasting, then to her parents' house for dinner. The thing is, my sister-in-law records FNG everything. I'm talking everything. It infuriates me. My wife doesn't seem to mind. I've made a few comments to my wife, but she ignores. During the wine tasting, every drink we had, she was recording. I didn't care until she stopped from drinking the wine for her to record. After that we went to her parents. Same thing, she recorded my wife's entrance in. They played my wife's favorite song and my wife told me to dance with her. We were dancing and I'm guessing my sister-in-law was elsewhere and said wait, start over. I didn't get it. I got a little annoyed, but my wife and I started the dance over. Afterwards I went up to my sister-in-law and handed her a beer. We talked for a bit, then I told her to enjoy herself, that she doesn't have to record every little thing. She says she does and it's none of my business. I told her she was right, but told her it must suck to think that way and told her she doesn't know how to live in the moment. Imagine trying to choreograph everything. I also told her if it was up to me, that dance wouldn't have been restarted. She didn't say much but walked away, but must have told my wife because my wife came up to me asking me what I said to her sister. I told her and my wife told me that I had no right to say that and I should apologize. I told her I wasn't going to apologize. My wife wasn't particularly upset, but she wasn't happy about what I said. My sister-in-law took me off her social media, so I'm guessing she took it to heart. I started to feel bad and maybe I should apologize. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for not wanting to tidy up when my wife's friend is coming over? My 30 male very pregnant wife's 33 female is having her friend come over today. To get ready, last night I cleaned the kitchen thoroughly and vacuumed the downstairs. During this time she was watching TV. This morning, I woke up early and took our son downstairs. I fed him, cleaned the dishes, and mopped the downstairs. When my wife came downstairs 30 minutes later, we switched to her watching our son while I got ready to go to the dump. While I was doing this prep, which is a decent amount, she was FaceTiming her mom. When I got back from the dump and getting gas, she was still FaceTiming and chatting to her mom on the couch. I ate breakfast and was also feeding my son again when she asked me if I was going to tidy up. I said no and that she should do it because I feel like I did more than my share while she sat on the couch and talked to her mom both last night and this morning. She got very upset and said they were my things to tidy up. It was mostly DIY and house cleaning items, which does often fall under my domain. We had a massive fight. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to tidy up? Edit, to clarify, she is 7.5 months pregnant but not bedridden. She is able to, does a lot of what she normally does, but while dealing with pregnancy stuff. I completely hear you guys. I know it's hard to create life. I was just asking that she do a little bit of the prep that she wanted done before her friend came over. While I am usually in charge of cleaning supplies and DIY items, she knows where they all go. It was not a lot and I was hoping she could handle some of that stuff since I handled everything else, which was a lot more. Am I the a-hole for not being honest with my fiancé about how much money I'm making? My boyfriend and I have been living together for 2 years. We recently moved out of our modest apartment and into a 3-bedroom house. Since the house didn't come with a washer or dryer, we opened a line of credit for a new set. Our monthly expenses increased by about $700. After the move, my boyfriend proposed. It was a total surprise and I'm thrilled. We opened up a joint checking account and have made a new budget to quickly pay off the washer and dryer so we could focus on planning our wedding. On a normal month, I make about $600 less than my fiancé, and that's what the new budget is planned around. However, on my last couple of paychecks I have been able to put in overtime and have made an extra $900 this month. I have the extra money set up to deposit into a separate account. My fiancé knows about the separate account, but I only told him about my first check of overtime, which was $325. He doesn't know about the other check. I've also donated plasma this month and that money is on its own account. My fiancé has been worried about money since we're trying to pay off the washer and dryer so quickly, and there's our wedding to plan. There have been things for the house we've needed to buy as well. I purchased a weed eater with some of my overtime check. I was afraid to tell him how much I spent, so I lied and told him it costed about half of what it actually did. I also told him I used the money from my plasma donation when I actually used the money from my second overtime check. Am I the asshole for keeping the amount of money I'm actually making a secret and not being forthcoming about the price of the appliance? Am I the a-hole for not bringing a birthday cake for my nephew? I, 24 female, am a baker. I've started baking since high school and have been making birthday cakes for my family. It was a good way to let people know I bake, to get feedback and to experiment. Thanks to that, I've gotten a few cake orders from my relatives and friends. After high school, I've gone to culinary school and have been working professionally since. I've made birthday cakes for my sister, her husband, her 3 kids, my parents every year. I didn't charge them anything as it was a present from me. These custom cakes normally cost around $200 minus $250. This year on my birthday I didn't have anything planned, didn't remind anyone that it was coming up. I was hoping at least one of them would remember and surprise me with something, but when I asked my mom if she bought a cake for me, she thought I would bake a cake for myself on my birthday. I was hurt. I didn't make cakes wanting to get anything in return, but I realized I was being taken for granted. After a few months it was my nephew's 7th birthday. This time I decided to not bring a cake and instead bought him a toy he wanted. When I got to my sister's house, she asked me where the cake was. I told her I didn't bring one. She got mad at me, saying that she expected me to bring a cake and didn't order one from a shop. I told her that it wasn't my problem. She could have asked me and ordered one from my bakery. My nephew was crying that he didn't have a cake and my sister blamed me for making him sad on his birthday. After the birthday party, I had numerous relatives making me seem like the bad guy and ruining the party. When I talked to my friends and coworkers about this, they were on my side. I'm not sure how I feel.